Flockers, and we are back with Tycho. Tycho, I'm just going to juggle this a little bit for a minute, okay? There. That better? Let's move that behind the camera, and let's move the camera here. There we go. Better lighting. Right, Tycho. Tycho in the box. So back up, if you are joining us, you might have just come over from Max's stream. That one's going to be available for review if you missed it. But right now we're going to go live with Tycho for a little bit. You never know how long Tycho is going to want to stream. But right now he's got a box. It took him no time whatsoever to find it. And he is pretty happy about it. Okay, I've got Greenbird, Rooster, Chris, Asevu, KT Spirit, Kathleen, hello to Pennsylvania. Hey, absolutely, Tiffany. Really glad to see you joining us. And Tycho is hanging out. Hey, Einstein. Yes, we are doing a double header today. Tycho was really quite interested in the fact that Max had a box, so we came over to have a bit of a munch on the box. All right, let's see here. Yeah, what do you think, Tycho? Is that a good box? Or do you see the fact there's a camera? Yeah, just give it some evil eye. Asevu says that they are still peeling spuds. Hey, Tycho, what do you think? Is it a big box? Is it a tasty box? Well, I'm going to ignore you for a few minutes so you can get into the box. I'm just over here cleaning up. Lots to clean over here after the big egg explosion, Tycho. I think you're safe to chew on that box. Nobody's going to bother you. There we go. It's boxing time. So Tycho likes to think he's got a bit of privacy, so I'm actually sitting in a chair with my back to Tycho. He sees me playing on the secondary device, so he thinks he's safe from the camera. Oops. Missed out on a few comments here. Yeah. Always good to see everybody. Ooh, KT, BLT sounds really, really good. I'm working on my second cup of coffee. Big yoga stretch, Tycho. Big stretch. And a preen. You can see Tycho just has some absolutely beautiful wing feathers. You gonna play? Yeah. Sue, Connie, Tango, everybody's joining us. Lucy, Linus. Yeah, Connie, coffee is always good. Max has decided it's time to nest at the bottom of his cage, and I think that's where he wanted to go. You notice when he was done with the live stream, he was ready to climb down, and he was, yeah, we're done now. But Tycho's been asking to come over and play, and I think he saw the box. This box is not going to last long. It is a relatively new box, and it is full of blocks and toys. We've had it open before. I've just folded the flaps on it. some of the flockers are coffee people. Tango, are you a tea person or a pop person, a juice person, a milk person? What do you drink? Yeah, Connie, here it's just past noon. Tico's kind of curious why there's something inside of his box. Questioning if it's going to make a good nest if there's stuff inside. Absolutely, Tiffany. So Joey is spending some time watching as well, eh? Well, a bok bok and a squawk to Joey. Tango hot chocolate's good. One of my current flavors is, or one of my current favorites is a homemade slush. What I do is I toss a tray of ice cubes in a blender. I add, right now my favorite flavor seems to be red grapefruit. So I add red grapefruit juice just to cover the ice cubes, and then I just turn on the blender until the ice cubes are turned to little bits of ice and slush, and it honestly makes a really, really refreshing slush, nice and cool. Tico actually tried a little bit of grapefruit slush the other day. He was begging, so I gave him a little tiny cup of it, and he quite approved. But yeah, first thing in the morning, give me a coffee. I definitely like my morning coffee. Sometimes I drink tea, but I think coffee is definitely one of my favorites. KT, the South, actually the States in general, if you go down to the States and you order tea, you end up with an iced tea. And it's like, what's this? I remember being in the States one time at a restaurant, and I figured it out. Order a la Captain Picard from Star Trek. Tea, hot, Earl Grey. Well, they didn't have Earl Grey. They were a little bit puzzled by hot tea, but they did have this peaking orange stuff. Oh yes, orange pekoe. I get, a fairly traditional tea, but not the best tea I'd ever had. Yes, you do absolutely have to say hot tea. Yeah, Connie, I drink my coffee black. The flock can't have any. Sue's got a storm rolling in. Yeah, we've got a lot of overcast weather. I think the smoke from the forest fires is keeping it from getting too hot, but it's still getting quite warm. Alexa, what's today's forecast?
Currently, in Calgary it's 17 degrees Celsius with mostly sunny skies. Today, you can expect partly sunny weather with a high of 26 degrees and a low of 12 degrees.
So we're going to get up to 26. Alexa, what's 26 Celsius in Fahrenheit?
26 degrees Celsius is 78.8 degrees Fahrenheit.
So 79 Fahrenheit is going to be our high today, Tango. Yeah. Now, I just assumed that you could hear Alexa, but right now she says it's about 17 Celsius, sunny, but today is going to be partially cloudy. There is still smoke warning in the area. I've not taken a close look at the forecast yet, but today it was supposed to be pretty bad, especially around noon. And I mean, the air outside has just been horrible. A bit of rain would be welcome because it'll knock some of the smoke particulate out of the air. And if I can get that to happen, then I can open up the windows and get a bit of cooler air in. KT Spirit, we started talking about coffee. And I think that came because we talked about Tico's black feathers on his wings. So he's breeding pretty for us right now. Tycho is fully feathered, and I know that can be a little bit unusual for a gray. Many of our gray friends have a bit of a plucking problem. We've been super fortunate with Tycho and Max. Max, if you take a close look at Max, here's a little secret. You'll actually notice that Max prefers having bare ankles. Every other Moluccan I've seen has feathers on the ankles. And I've never caught him, but I'm pretty sure that as he gets new feathers coming in on his ankles, he just removes them because he thinks that the flood looks good. But, you know, it happens as it happens. Yeah, well, right now, Tego, we've got a really good light on Tycho. I've got a ring light that I use when I am streaming indoors. I wish it had a bit more control over color temperature because it does have a bit of a tendency to wash the birds out a little bit. Tycho's face is super white, and Max sometimes comes out as more white than the peachy color that he is, but it's far better than going without the lights. So you dripped, Tycho. What you doing? I don't think there's anything behind the chair. There might be stuff inside the box, so yeah. Boxes are fun. Yeah, 23 is beautiful, Connie. You know, low 20s, it's comfortable to be outside, it's warm, but it's not so hot that you start sweating the minute you step outside. You know, Calgary, we are not used to super hot weather. In a normal year, we might get 4 or 5 days that reach 30 degrees Celsius. But, you know, it's a day here, a day there, cools off at night with a horrible thunderstorm, maybe a bit of hail, but that's Calgary. Usually it's a little bit more temperate. And lately we've been, like this year, we're setting records for the number of hot days. We beat our previous heat record, not just by a little bit, I mean, we beat it by 3.5, 4 degrees. Tycho, are you chewing on the no chewing on the chair. Yes, Tycho did say hi. Yeah, Basco's quite a dark bird. The really dark African grays are the Timney grays. We've had a few videos where we've included our friend Gonzo the Great. This is before he passed away. But you can see Gonzo is very small. He's a Timney. And Timneys, you can tell the difference because of size. The tail is a dark maroon rather than a bright red. The feathers are a much darker gray. They're physically a lot smaller. And the beaks tend to be sort of more of a horn color rather than black. But they are subspecies of African gray. Most grays that I've seen are the Congos, and Tycho is a Congo African gray. There are a few other little subspecies, but the two primaries are Congo and Timney. If you want to get a good look at a Timney, take a look in my videos, not now, but after the stream. Search for Gonzo. He's been in a few videos on my stream. So if you search my video titles for something including Gonzo, spelt just like the Muppet, he had a really big beak, you'll get a good view of what a Timney looks like. And he was really great for Timney. And Timneys usually live 40 to 50 years, Congos 50 to 60. But Gonzo was a really old man for Timney. He lived to the ripe age of 61, and he might have been older. What we knew about Gonzo is Lori was his third home, and he really got along well with Lori. but Gonzo had been originally live caught and brought over as part of the pet trade. Nowadays, that's no longer acceptable, but 60 years ago, this was a bit of the norm. And, you know, he actually had a pretty good life. He had a really long life. He died at 61. And that's pretty amazing when you realize that he was well beyond his expected lifespan. Chico, you're still a youngster, aren't you? Yeah, what's down there? What do you see? Oh, good for you, Tango. Tango says that he just donated again to help Mango. Well done. Well done. Tango, if you've got the link to donate, feel free to toss that in the comments and link to the story as well, and then we can encourage others to help out Mango as well. Yeah, Tico's sizing up the problem, taking a look at the box. I'm actually wondering if Tycho might like a copy of CORN. Yeah, Chris, he might just be being clever. But I do have one more piece of corn. Tycho, would you like a chunk of corn? Like me to get you some corn? Let's get you set up with some corn. You gotta be good with the corn though. Oh, there we go. It's closed. It's fresh out of the refrigerator. Okay. Now, Tycho, I don't want the box all gooped up. So what I'm going to do, chill out, okay? I'm going to put down a board and some newspaper. You've seen the board and newspaper before. I'm just going to get myself organized a little bit. There's a possibility I might spook Tycho and I might bump the camera, so just bear with me. It's okay, Tycho. Can we put this down and slide this in? Oops, there we go. Yeah, is that okay? Look what I've got for you. Whoops. Tycho, you dropped it on the floor. Here, I'll see if I can get that back for you. Now, one thing about Tycho and corn, you do not want to get between Tycho and his corn. I'm going to, oh, Tycho, if you throw it on the ground, it's going to be on the ground. Here we go. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, Tycho. Would you like some corn? Not my hand, just the corn. Gentle. Get a good beak. Is that your corn? Yeah. He noticed I had the other camera. So Tycho gets very territorial about his corn. And one of his favorite games with corn right now is to fling it and toss it. You saw that a minute ago when he jumped on the corn and started going for a little bit of a ride. Oh, he loves his corn. He's not angry, he's just excited. Tico actually works the same way when he gets squash. He wants to dominate the squash, he wants to attack the squash, but he really enjoys it. A huge thank you to Asevu, who sent us £4.99, £5. Thank you so much. Asevu says, Tico, you are beautiful. So thank you so much for that. Tico, that's going to buy you lots of corn. Yeah. Oh yeah, he loves his corn. He's now giving me an eyeball because he sees me on the camera. Pardon me. There's two. All right, Tico, I'm going to go over here, wash my hands, and ignore you. So when Tico dropped the corn, it was down underneath behind the chair. And if I would have tried to get behind the chair to grab the corn, Tico probably would have gotten a little bit territorial. So what I did is I grabbed the broom and I just used the end of the broom to pull the corn back towards me so I can pick it up. It works well. It's just really about grabbing it without getting chunked. Because Tico looks at that corn and he says that is his piece of corn. He doesn't care about anybody else's claim to it. This one is his. Yeah, it's okay, Tico. You can play with the corn. That one's for you. So he'll rip all of the corn off the cob, then he'll shred the cob. Honestly, corn on the cob is one of his favorite toys. Second to pumpkin and squash. But I think what it is, it's very easy to tear apart. It's fun to play with. It tastes great. You know, corn's got a fair bit of sugar in it. Max, on the other hand, is scared of corn on the cob. Unless I slice it very, very narrow. If I slice it narrow, he'll go after it, but usually what I do is I pull some of the fresh corn off the cob and I put that in his food bowl and he's quite happy eating it that way. Other things Max prefers large chunks of, but corn on the cob, that cob is scary. Quite a few years ago, I'm going to say maybe 10 years ago now, maybe a bit longer, I gave the flock each a large chunk of corn. So the chunk of corn I gave Max is probably about the size of the cob that Tico currently has sitting there. And what happened is I put it on top of food bowls and I headed out for the day. Tico loved his corn, had a great day, had a wonderful day. Well, I got home and Max was sitting on the other end of his perch, as far away as he physically could get from the corn, and he was eyeing it up. And it was still sitting on his food bowl, and his food bowl was full of food. And Max was looking at me, and he was very good at communicating to me that he was oh so very hungry, but that horrible piece of corn held his food bowl hostage all day. Now, Max is a big boy. He could easily pick up the cob and toss it onto the ground. But no, he was scared of the cob. So the corn cob held his food bowl hostage. So I don't know why he finds it scary. I mean, he's much bigger than it, but I think he just has not quite figured that out. So after that, I learned something about feeding Max. Make sure you don't put a large piece of something on his food bowl. It will cause him to go without food all day. He'll be very grumpy when you get home. So as soon as I moved the cob, asked if that was the problem, he raced over to his food bowl and started eating like he hadn't ever seen food before in his life. You know, for him, a day is a very long time. And everybody knows how motivated Max is by food. Max is very food motivated. So the fact that his food bowl could be held hostage by a piece of corn for an entire day, that's pretty significant. So I found that one really, really interesting at the time. I felt terrible for it. I felt as if I was the one who had caused that to happen. And I just didn't have the situational awareness when I went out in the morning that it was going to be a problem. Yeah. Yeah, sometimes Tico's a little bit odd about the camera. See, Tico, I'm playing on a camera over here. I'm leaving you alone. Oh, so Tango has something interesting here he's pulled up. I'm just going to read that out. Tango says, the range of the gray, Psittacus erithicus, and I may have mispronounced that, one of the most heavily harvested bird species for the international pet trade, spans the forest belts of Central and West Africa and includes the oceanic island Kinsale. Oh yeah. Tico, what did you drop? You dropped your corn? Can I reach your corn? Ooh! Would you like corn? Corn? You got it? Tico is incredibly strong for a gray. You'll notice that he's holding that cob by himself. Now, a corn cob to you or I does not seem that heavy. But when you consider that Tico himself is about a pound, that corn cob represents a lot of his weight. He does have a table there he can use, but he much prefers to hold it himself. And I mean, just imagine proportionally, you trying to hold a piece of food that is half as tall as you are. Oops. While eating it and dropping it on the floor. Excuse me, Tico. Like it again? I really don't want to play fetch with corn. Yeah. So the cob's part of the fun. What I do is I remove the silk and I remove the outer leaves. And then I let Tico have the rest. So he'll chew at the cob, he'll eat some of the corn. What you're seeing him doing here is he's peeling each individual piece of corn as he munches on it. I'm gonna just change the angle a little bit. There. So he's enjoying it. It's quite sweet. And he's put it down, he's got his foot on it. But yeah, Tico, when October rolls around, October is pumpkin season. And now that I understand that Tico is the pumpkin king, self-declared, actually he's won a couple of contests that Pumpkins for Parrots contests have been put on. So he's actually been declared that not just by us, but by external forces as well. But Tico loves pumpkins. So what I do when October rolls around, that's pumpkin season, I buy the big carving pumpkins. Usually they're not sold by pound. They are sold basically by unit piece. So I find big ones. I give them a really, really good wash. And then I sneak them into Tico's cage. Now, when I'm putting them in Tico's cage, usually I'm buying pumpkins that are about the size of the opening of the cage. I've almost gotten too big before and had to shave a little bit off the side, but Max gets a piece of pumpkin to chew on. Tico has finally accepted that that's going to happen. But Tico gets the entire pumpkin. I keep him out of the cage when I'm putting it in. He'll watch me closely, but if he's inside the cage when I reach in with a squash, a pumpkin, or a piece of corn, he's likely to attack my arm to defend the corn. You saw earlier in the stream, and if you didn't, you can go back and watch it, how he jumped on the corn as if to vanquish it. That's the way he acts inside of his cage when I give him a piece of squash, a piece of corn, or a pumpkin. He wants to just jump on and, he wants to play with it. He's very playful when it comes to that. So you do not want your arm to be there when Tico jumps and lunges because that beak is powerful. So I think Tico does a bit of powerlifting when I'm not watching because he's incredibly strong. If he does not like where I've put a large carving pumpkin, and I mean, I bought the ones up to 20 pounds, he'll actually move it in his cage. He'll hold on to his cage, dig his beak in, and pull. And he can drag a pumpkin that weighs 20 times what he weighs and is significantly larger than him across his cage. First time I saw him doing it, I just could not believe it. I'm going, how did you manage that? I mean, that's just impossible. But Tico is very, very strong, very, very determined, and he loves his pumpkin, but he'll get a really good jaw workout chewing on it. He'll shred it, he'll eat some, but he honestly is in his happy place when there is a pumpkin. But what happens during pumpkin season, I will buy a whole pumpkin, and I'm sure the garbage men kind of wonder because what will happen, Tico will shred the entire pumpkin. He'll shred it down to just bite-sized bits, and when he's done with it, I will roll it up in newspaper and haul it out, and then he'll get another pumpkin. And he can disassemble an entire pumpkin in 2 or 3 days. It honestly astounds me. And during pumpkin season, I don't worry about the pumpkin going bad inside of his cage because he's going to eat it before it gets a chance to. But he really enjoys them. He's not scared of them. He's not trying to get rid of them. It's his favorite toy in the world. When it's not pumpkin season, there are other toys that he does like. Tico's favorite toys have got to be bells and a set of, they're called pots and pans. They're little metal measuring cups that look very much like a set of pans that dangle on chains and they jingle together. Tico just loves the sound. He'll swing from them sometimes, he'll jangle them. He's into bells, that's his big thing. And the other thing Tico's been enjoying recently is he's got a baffle cage, and I've been filling that with blocks of wood, shredded paper, birdie bagels, which are the round cardboard hoops. I put a few baby links in there, the plastic baby links that he likes to play with, and some pods, the mahogany pods. And he'll tear that one apart. He'll have fun maneuvering it out of the cage. Sometimes some Nutriberries in there as well, but he's happy to play with that. That's his idea of fun. Yeah. But I think one of Tico's favorite games, though, are anything involving food. I mean, a corn cob, great fun. You okay, Tico? Yeah, Tico, that didn't happen. We'll pretend we didn't see it. So absolutely, Tiffany says, as much as she loves her Joey, she feels sad knowing what kind of life his parents had and what he went through until I got him.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Decline that. Make sure here, yeah, I'm not on a call. That is one of my ringtones on my phone, and it's a call saying hello. I can catch that one later. Oh, I know, that distracted you, Tico. So, absolutely, Tiffany, we were sort of talking about what sort of lives the birds had before you got them. Absolutely. I mean, Max did not have a great life when I met him. He was really angry. He was really violent. You know, he was not happy at all. Now, he seems pretty happy. He gets a lot of enrichment. He's living a bit of life adventures. So I do my best for him. Sometimes I probably don't get it right because, after all, he is in captivity. But he seems to be happy with what he's got and what I have to offer. Tico seems pretty happy too. Now, Tico, when we got Tico, it was in 96, 6, a long time ago now. And much. And Tycho was 6 months old when we got him. You know, he was a baby. At that time, you really didn't hear about the rescues the way you hear about them today. I think social media has gone a long way in making rescue birds accessible, educating people about the pitfalls of owning birds, etc. When we adopted Tycho, I previously had a pair of lovebirds. I knew nothing about the big parrots. I mean, I didn't even understand at the time that they were a lifetime commitment. I think in the back of your mind, you sort of understand that, but it wasn't really something that was educated or learned about. But Tycho has done really, really well. I mean, you know, he's gone through puberty. I've got a few scars to prove that. He's trained me on a few things. I mean, his cage, he likes having all sorts of toys hanging from the top. He likes to have his food bowl sitting on the bottom of his cage and his water bowl sitting in a container halfway up. Took me years to learn how he wanted to eat, but in the wild, the Braves would be a ground forager. I guess it makes sense. And it wasn't until I saw Parrots R Us on social media putting Kramer's bowl on the bottom of his cage that I thought, oh, I wonder if Tycho might like that idea. And Tycho just looked at me and said, what took you so long? It took me over 20 years to figure out that my African Grey actually wanted to eat food from the bottom of his cage rather than from a food bowl, despite the fact that he constantly was dumping off of his food bowl and going down and eating it there. But, you know, you learn as you go. And like, I did not know that Tycho would like pumpkins until, I guess, 3 years ago. Surprise, now he's the pumpkin king. You know, so you keep learning new things, you keep trying new things, you keep providing new experiences. But I think that that's really part of parent enrichment. You know, I'm always looking for something new and different to try. New and different is good. It gives the birds an opportunity to explore their world. Yeah, today certainly, if I got another parrot, I would be adopting an older bird. I would be going to a rescue and saying, who do you have that you think is unadoptable? Who is the problem bird? And the reason I would do that, I wouldn't recommend that for somebody who does not have any parrot experience, but it's been incredibly gratifying watching Max come into his own. And I know that I have the patience, and you know, I know what bad bird behavior looks like. I mean, I've gone through it all with Max. You know, so I've learned how to manage that. So I would be quite willing to do that. Actually, quite a few years ago, you probably heard about the rescue that closed down in BC, a large rescue. When the owner of the rescue died, basically they had to rehome every bird, and it was an absolute nightmare. Greyhaven took some, you know, some of our friends like Lucky Lou and Coco came from that rescue, you know, some of them in a bit of a roundabout way. But I'd actually reached out and I emailed Vancouver and I said, hey, I'm in Calgary. If you have a problem parrot that you cannot place and you need a place for them, I have experience, I have large cages, and I will drive out to Vancouver to grab them. Basically, all hands on deck. I can take up to 2. Being realistic, they actually didn't need that, but I looked at the number of birds, and you know, there was no way they were going to just be able to rehouse them in Vancouver or just in BC. So I did offer, but that's the right thing to do at the time. Wasn't taken up, and I'm not even sure if they got the email, you know, because they probably had a lot going on at the time. But I wanted to make sure that, you know, I was doing what I could, and it's like, I'm willing to foster, I'm willing to adopt, whatever you need me to do. But I think that that's really what the parrot community does. Yeah, but Tycho, you know, he does quite well. He's very independent. He's in some ways a lot more independent than Max is. Tico likes having his own space, and Tico, one big thing with Tico is the concept of self-determination. Tico will get mad if I just walk over and I start scratching on the head. That's a great way to get bit. But if I walk over and he lowers his head, he's asked me to scratch him, so I can scratch him. If I walk over and I ask him, Tico, do you want a head scratch? Or do you want a scritchy? And he lowers his head. We've got the concept of consent. He likes to control what goes on around him. And he taught me that over the years. So it works well. Tango, corn is inexpensive. Go buy yourself some. Tico commands it. Absolutely, Tiffany. We give the flock raw corn. I shuck it, remove the silk, and wash it, and then I give it to them. They can also eat cooked corn. When it's really hot out, sometimes they get frozen corn and peas straight out of the freezer. And I do keep some frozen vegetables around. If I don't have fresh, frozen is a good alternative. Yeah, Chris says all three of his are rescues, 2 self-rescue and 1 official rescue. Yeah, raw is delicious, isn't it, Tico? Yeah, pick up the corn. Yep. You can see what a mess Tico's making with the corn too. He's enjoying it. KT says that the Timmy African Grey that she had was literally dropped in her lap. She had no idea where he came from or anything. Her best guess is he was traumatized by being smuggled into the States. Sue says that one of her favorite Tico videos is the pumpkin one. He takes him down to dust. Oh, absolutely. One of the pumpkin videos I did was a time lapse. And what I did is I sped it up, I think 6 times. And it shows him from first bite and just chiseling through a pumpkin. And I mean, it just looks like termites and fast gear. He wants to chew that pumpkin and he wants to destroy it. Yeah, he loves his pumpkin. Yeah, absolutely, Tiffany. There's a couple of videos out there. What I'll do, if I forget, please comment and remind me. But I will put one in the community page that just shares it out so you can watch Tico and his pumpkin. Because it is fun to watch. Yes, Einstein, pumpkin season comes in October. But what we do during the non-pumpkin season, Tico gets some squash. Buy acorn squash, spaghetti squash, sometimes long squash. It's much softer. It's more like a zucchini. I wash it well on the outside and then I give it to them. Sometimes I also will pick up stabby bastard squash. I'm trying to think what the proper name for that is. Around here it's known as that because it has a couple of little thorns that grow at the top of the squash near the stem. And as you can tell, I discovered them the hard way. And it's this perfectly smooth squash and suddenly you're bleeding. Yeah. Yeah, KT, Max could not be handled when I first met him. Tico's now making a little bit of a mess. Connie, Tico was born in 1996. Yeah, Sue, that was T-Cal's hellos. Yeah, I usually remember to turn off the cell phone. I just didn't remember this time. Yeah, Connie, he's totally forgotten that there's a camera there, and he's just having some fun chewing at stuff. In his beak. Yeah. No, Max is pretty happy. Lucy and Lana's asked, what about melons? I have gotten the flock melons a few times. They like them. They're not super crazy about them. Usually if I'm looking for something for Tycho, once in a blue moon I'll buy a melon, but usually I will buy something I know they're going to really enjoy. Apples, oranges, they're not so much into grapefruits or limes. Squash obviously, but usually I will go for whatever I think they're going to really like. But if I see a melon or something on a really good price on sale, I'll grab it. So Tycho's back to destroying the box. Strawberries sort of seem to be a bit of a give or a take. But Doris, up here a lot of the strawberries you get in the store don't have a lot of taste to them. They're pretty bland. They're not like the fresh strawberries. I think if I went to Pick Your Own where they had some really good strawberries, the flock would probably enjoy them. And they're not a big one on berries, I find. Cherries are good. I find that they're a bit of work because I always remove the cherry pit before offering it. And cherries fly well and stick to walls and ceilings and make a bit of a mess. Hey, Mookie. Yes, we are still chatting. And we're about to end off here fairly soon, but I'll hang out for a few minutes since Mookie just arrived. And Mookie, you can always catch up with us after the fact as well. Tycho's been chewing up a box. He's been having some corn. It's really been a good day for the flock. Lots of snacks. Max is currently eating the grapes he turned his beak up at earlier during the live stream. Remember the ones he tossed on the floor? I put those in this food bowl, and now they're the best thing ever. Tango says, Nicole, can you post this? I'm not seeing what you're asking me to post. I'm thinking it might have a link in it, and I know that YouTube does like to block things with links. If you toss it in the regular comments of this video, I will go into moderation and make sure it gets released. And if that doesn't work, just send me a message and I'll scoop it up and post it. Yeah, Max, we had a lot of fun with his live. It was a bit of a different live. Max wanted to shred the box, and we had a bit of a microwave explosion with an egg. Egg was cracked, and the yolk was stirred into the white. I don't know what happened. We've got a bit of a mess to clean up still. Yeah, Tango, I think it's blocking the link. So what we'll do is, if you post that one in the regular comments later, I will make sure that I release it. What happens a lot in spam, Tango, is we get a lot of links that are the weird ones. And they're not from anybody that we know. They come without a context. And if you click on them, they are usually malicious. And YouTube's taken to blocking a lot of that. I find a lot of that lands in the moderation, and I'm quite happy with the malicious links landing there. YouTube does not always tell the difference between malicious and non-malicious, and I can't get into moderation right now just because I'm on the phone. But I will release anything that is legitimate when I see it, and I do make a point of looking at that. I've even sometimes had comments where somebody's used a period instead of a space that's landed in moderation. You know what? YouTube, it's machine learning, it's trying to figure it out. That's okay. You know, I'm not going to panic too much. Oh no, Mookie says her screen's frozen. Yeah, we've got Einstein's live stream tomorrow. We had a double live today, first Max, then Tycho. Yeah, Tiffany, we're so happy that you were able to join us today for this stream. I know you caught Max's stream really late, but you were able to hang out with us for most of Tico's stream. You know, YouTube's algorithm can sometimes be a little bit weird, but I think everybody now knows the schedule. A new Max video is released weekdays, 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. Add an hour or subtract an hour if you're on the East Coast, and add an hour or two if you are heading out to the West Coast. Right now it is 12:49 Mountain Standard Time as we're streaming it, so just do a little bit of math. But 9 a.m. you're always going to have a new video popping up from Max on YouTube on weekdays, and then Saturdays we start the Max stream about 10:45. We stream for usually about an hour, and then occasionally we'll have a pop-up. And I know YouTube can be really bad about sometimes not displaying streams. But yeah, I think it's about time to end today's stream. So I want to wish everybody an absolutely wonderful week. One thing to look forward to early in the week, I'm going to have a really fun unboxing video. And it's Max unboxing, and it might have something to do with harnesses. So, you know, something a lot of fun there. Max really loves unboxing things, and I think they can be a lot of fun watching Max pull open boxes and discover things. So we've got one of those happening early in the week. I still have to edit it down. And yeah, now always good to see everybody. Thank you for joining us, Rooster, Mookie, Connie, Katie, Tiffany. We had Einstein and KT, Sue, Tango, all of the regulars. And I know we've got some regulars that join us as well. Lucy and Linus, Connie, and I know I'm missing a few people, and I apologize for that. You know, we'd like to thank everybody for the super chats. Those are always really, really appreciated. You know, thank you to Asivu. Always good to see him, our ornithology dude, and all of our regulars. So, and I know that we've got a few people that watch as well, and they're pretty quiet in the background. That's okay too. I mean, you don't always have to chat up. Just make sure you hit that thumbs up button if you want to help out the channel. Things that you can do to help our algorithms. Watch the video right to the end. I mean, hit the like button, comment, participate in the comments, hit share. If you see something you really enjoy, hit the share button and share it out on social media. This all helps us. Anyhow, Tico, we're about to end the stream. Do you want a quick scritchy? Scritch, scritch? Scritch? Yeah. Okay, we got feathers up and about head and a quick scritch. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Can you say thank you to everybody? Thank you, Tico. And we're going to end with a Tico close-up. All right. Thank you, everybody. Bok, bok.